It's Jack, and we are back, kind of, sort of. Like, we have a video. Missed you. So I want to thank Games Workshop. She does too.
Thank you, Games Workshop.
They sent us 2 books to review, the Idoneth Deepkin book and the...
Fyreslayer?
Oh, it's because the same art. They sent us 2 books, the Idoneth Deepkin book and the Fyreslayers book, and I was able to go through them, review them. These are not armies I've played before, but I played against them, and noticing the difference, seeing the winners and losers, or stuff that is become more optimized for competitive play and maybe suboptimal, if you will. I think they all have rules, they all have a place. If you like these models, then play them. They have a place in your army and on your shelf. So, starting with the Fyreslayers, things I've noticed, the changes. I'm not going to go through every unit, but the things that stand up to me. Shoot, you gonna join me?
I like that idea, place in the army versus place on the shelf. Army or shelf.
Yeah. Because my Gabriel Sherhart is on the
shelf.
Yeah, he's on the shelf right now. I'm going to go first with a unit I really dig. He is the Grimrath Berserker.
Kick us off. Is he on the shelf or is he in the army?
Oh, he is definitely in the army. You might even want to take, I'm scouring eBay right now. No, not eBay. I'm going to Games Workshop and paying full price for Grimrath Berserkers, just like we did on the Salamander sketch. Just do that with the Grimrath, because they still don't have the leader keyword, so you're not constricted if you're in a 2,000 point game to having like 6 leaders. You can have as many Grimrath Berserkers as you can fit in the legal list. So in the allegiance abilities, you have Grimrath Oaths, which are just special things for Grimrath Berserkers, so they can feel special. Sorry, Doomseeker, you're on the shelf. He's a Silver Tower model. He didn't need, but he's in the book. He's still in the book. But Grimrath Oaths. At the start of the first battle round, you can pick one of the following oaths for each friendly Grimrath Berserker. The rule for the oath applies until the end of the battle. If your army includes more than 1 Grimrath Berserker, you cannot pick the same oath more than once. There are 6 different oaths. They're all awesome. Well, they're not all awesome. They're better than this, but they're great, and you can pick these, and it makes you unique.
So this is like a new allegiance ability.
Yeah, allegiance ability. So you get these. My favorite Grimrath Oath is I will let nothing stand in my way. Because this army's pretty slow, you're Dwarden, you only have 4 movement, and so you're kind of slow. But one of the Grimrath Oaths is you can run and charge, and you can re-roll your run rolls and re-roll your charge rolls. The Fyreslayers allegiance abilities are great. You still have the Urgold runes, you strike at the start of your hero phase, and so you can pick the one that lets you move twice, plus 2 your movement, and if you roll a 6, plus 2 your charge. So imagine just a Grimrath Berserker zipping forward. Oh, there's so many combos you can make, because one of these sub-factions, they start with 3 artifacts, so you don't even have to take Warlord, Core Battalion, or anything like that to get an extra enhancement. You get 3 artifacts, and these artifacts are pretty nice, and so you can have just this missile of Dwarven Fiery Fury running up the field. I'm having 3. If Brent plays Fyreslayers, but he'll let me borrow one. Another winner is the Battlesmith. There's some hoopla around it right now, because as of right now, even if you have him allied, he can rally units on a 4+ instead of a 6. I think that won't be around too long, but we see how long GW is taking to send out FAQ, so you'll probably be able to do that for a little bit.
So anybody that can ally these dudes can rally on a 4+, like dragons.
Yeah, Stormcast can ally these, so you have a unit of dragons, fulminators, coming back on a 4+. Yes, please. They have a banner that gives the army a ward save if within range. And the only thing that I would hold back on the Battlesmith is you can't protect it. You just get Lookout Sir. Whereas the Auric Runefather and the Auric Runesung, they can have retinues where they can kind of bodyguard units. If the Battlesmith could get those, he would be just unstoppable. Now the winner, for me, Magmadraws. Their rules were always kind of bicycle-y. That's an inside joke, but he has a really funny joke about rules and big bicycle wheels. But the rules are kind of just not the easiest to understand. They did streamline it. They made it easier. And you can have an army of all Magmadraws, and that's just cool. You had the Start Collecting box. A lot of people bought those and had Magmadraws sitting now you have a chance to build them.
You can put them build them, use them. Yep, get them out there. Cool
models that should be on the shelf. Shouldn't be on the shelf.
Yeah.
So Fierce Counter, part of the allegiance abilities, it used to be one of the sub-factions you took in the last book, where it lets you fight first for a command point. Now it's just Volkite Berserkers and Hearthcar Berserkers. You can just spend a command point and fight first, which is that kind of went away with 3rd edition. It's coming back a little bit, but it's not as overwhelming and just kind of NPE, if you will.
Non-negative
player experience. Yeah. They will get the fight first command ability, but you can only use 1 command ability and receive 1 command ability for a turn. So just one unit can fight first.
Yeah.
But now you're not locked into a sub-faction, and I think that's cool. So, and here's my favorite thing. If you do have a priest as general, you can take the command trait Master Priest, and it lets you strike one of your old Urgold runes twice. So if you really want to get up there, you can strike the one where you have +2 to movement twice, and again, if you roll a 6, you get the advanced version. That is a very good command trait, but my favorite command trait is if you have a Rune Father as your general. It's called Leader of the Durad... What's that say?
I don't know. Duradrisol?
Yeah, I got the first take. Leader of the Duradrisol. If you have a Rune Father as your general, it lets allied Duradin units have the Fyreslayer keyword when you use the Urgold runes. That means Gotrick can now have +2 to run, and if you hit a 6, he gets +2 to charge. He can get more rend. He's super Gotrick. Yeah, so you can spin a CP to make him run 6, +2. That's a 12-inch movement. He's right on objective. Take me off, please. I'm sure people will dig into it like, ooh, what I can do with Cities of Sigmar or what I can do with KO to have them strike the rune and have the ability. The only thing I didn't like is like, so one of the Urgold runes is like it gives you more rend through your axe throws, and it actually says axe throws, and so Gotrick doesn't have an active throw, but yeah, he has other cool stuff. Now we will go to the suboptimal things about the book, besides having the same art. I'll leave the negativity out of this. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine that it's the same art. It
is. Well, it's worth mentioning that you're gonna if you have a shop and you have these books on the shelf from the last edition, you have not sold them all, you're going to be confused about which edition you're looking at unless you look closely. So, I know shops that still have General's Handbook from 2016, and they're like, do you want to buy General's Handbook? And they're all over there, and you go look, and it's like, dude, this is from 2016.
Now, hearing that makes me okay, maybe they should have just make it easy to differentiate. The book just came out a year and a half.
Just between the editions.
Yes. Okay. You sold me on that.
It's not a complaint. It's just it's there's a practical reason you want to put a different cover on the latest edition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also the new one has this burgundy bind thing. So.
Yeah. You do have that going.
On the shelf. The Auric Hearthguard, which are the guys who shoot. I thought they were better last edition because they did have a bodyguard rule on their war scroll, and they were pretty good against monsters. They can make monsters worth, and in this monster meta that we are currently in, I think they are worse. But they do have a cool rule that if you roll a 6 to hit, the target unit is -1 to their movement. And so, in the way I'm reading it is it's for every 6 you get a -1, and I think it stops at half of your movement. And so if they have 2 shots each, so if you get a bunch of hits, and there are 6s to hit, you can slow down a unit. And the Rune Smiter, which is a good unit, can still burrow and bring units up with it. Coming down, popping up, and shooting stuff. Because shooting's always good, because you're projecting power and nobody can really retaliate. On the shelf, it'd be the Volkite Berserkers with shields, just because they're on 32 mil bases, and they only have 1 attack now. Whereas I think before they had 2 attacks. It's just if they charge, they do mortal wounds, but you're so slow, you're probably not going to charge as much as you're going to be charged. But they are cheaper, which I do like. They're cheaper than the Volkite Berserkers with 2 hand axes. So it's usually they'll be oh, this is clearly the better choice. But now that actually, it's kind of like the Bastiladon, where the Arcosotech and the one with the laser beam, the solar engine, used to be the same price, but no one ever took the Arcosotech. But now that they're cheaper, people are still not taking it. But it's cheaper.
I heard something recently, which is don't play hard to get when you're already hard to want.
But that is what I'm thinking about the Fyreslayers, and I will tag in my brother Shu. We're not really brothers, but we do kind of look alike. And he will come and gives his take on Fyreslayers.
I'm just going to look at the pretty pictures, to be honest.
Going over Deepkin, a big winner for me, the #1 winner from this awesome book, is people who don't like shooting.
Does this have a new cover? Josh was right!
Yeah, you can tell that GW likes elves more than they like Durden, because look at this brand new cover. But yeah, the #1 winner with this book is people who don't like shooting. Yeah. And I'm looking at you, Cinderfall Gaming. So they just got better at that. As a person who plays a lot of shooting, my win rate against Deepkin is not very good. I think I may have beaten Rocco, and that was on TTS, so it doesn't count.
Why do you gotta call the guy out?
Because it's my boy. He's your boy too. It's everybody's boy.
It's in his name.
So Deepkin, they got better at what they did, which was before you had to shoot the closest unit, and now under low tide, there's rituals in the game, all kind of stuff. Elite abilities, rituals. So one of the rituals is if you are during low tide, you can only shoot at a Deepkin unit if you're within 12 inches of it. Similar to Mirror Shield, where you have to be within 9 of that Stormcast hero who has that item. Now you have to be within 12 inches of an Idoneth unit to be able to shoot it, and you still have to shoot at the closest one. So So it's like better at being anti-shooting. So I think this army will help shift people who, are tired of getting shot off by me. Because I need to be able to diversify my army. I can't just go 12 long strikes at LVO. I can't be, because I'm like, what am I going to do against Deepkin? I'm not going to be able to shoot him. Unless I want to get close, then I'm sacrificing that unit. Now I'm like not getting too crunchy with it. But yeah, I think it's going to shift stuff because, I think if you're going heavy shooting, you probably won't be able to go 5-0 at a big event because you're going to probably run into these bad boys. And so now I have to think. Ragonk, I need some help, please. Send me some lists. Thank you.
I thought low tide would be a Nurgle thing.
Another winner would be the Sheeran Tidecaster, because you can pick a ritual and you don't roll for it or anything, you just select. And some of them are great, but one, like I mentioned, the ritual of the Creeping Mist is the one that you pick, and if it's low tide, you have to be within 12. Well, say you really want that one. If you take the Tidecaster, you can select 2 different rituals. So you can have that one and another one. So you're not locked into having 12. I can have the 12 and I can have the one where my Namardi have a 5-up ward, or the other ones I haven't really picked up because I haven't looked. This is the first time I'm looking at these. I saw the one I liked and I wanted to say it. Another winner is the Gloomtide Shipwrecks. So last edition, they were causing problems because you could put them in your opponent's territory, kind of funnel them where you wanted to go. You'd have 2 big boats. And then in this edition, they kind of made you only set it up in your territory and you can only have 1 boat or split it into 2. So a lot of people had an extra boat laying around. Spoiler alert, go get that ship that you sold, Andrew, from James, or whoever sold the ship because they didn't need 2 anymore. You're going to need 2 because now not only so you can garrison in it, but they have if you're wholly within 6 inches of the Gloomtide Shipwreck, either pieces, because you can split it up, or if you have 1 big one, you get a 5-up ward save. So not only can you not be shot at, but you have a ward save if you're next to your boats. And one of the command traits lets you put out another boat, be it a big boat or 2 little ones. So you can have 4 little bubbles of 5-up ward saves if you're within 6 of these things, which is, that's very nice. So I'm gonna, hopefully get a monster in there, smash your terrain, but it's pretty good. Yeah. But go get another boat. If you have that boat sitting on the shelf, you're gonna be able to use it again, which is good. You're gonna need 2 boats. Clarify that. Yeah, you can still shoot people who are garrison, but just Deepkin are like they're the anti-shooting guys.
Yeah, so you have to be close enough to shoot them.
So now, if I'm close enough to shoot you, you might have a 5-up ward save because you're near your boat. I'm really going through my head, how am I going to beat this army? I'm going to have to change some things up, which is great because people aren't liking a lot of shooting stuff. So this is it's making me change my list. Another little cool thing I noticed, you have more allies to choose from. I believe Deepkin were kind of lacking on ally side, so it's nice to. I always like to look for allies. Like I'm playing Stormcast with some Chameleon Skink allies because I just want to be a little unique-y. Like, hey, this is my own flavor in the army, but you have more allies now. Another winner, Lotan, used to be a joke, a punchline. People talked about him being the worst unit in the game. Now, bring him. He's awesome. I love it when an awesome model has awesome rules because he was a really cool model, but people just made fun of him. I want an octopus who hangs behind my back and has a cudgel and maybe writes stuff down for me. I would like an octopus familiar, just chilling.
Oh, good. What is he writing? Dear Journal, slapped a bitch today with my stick.
Who be like, my octopus will die soon. I forget to feed it. That'd be the worst octopus dad. Another winner. Thralls are another good winner because it's one of those things I felt GW listened to the crowd because they wanted the frustration that people have when you, especially with these new coherency rules, is if you're on a 32 mil base and you have a 1-inch range, you're not getting very many guys in. You're not getting very many attacks. But the Thralls now have that 2-inch range, and so as a Khorne player, I'm being very hopeful. But then I saw the Fyreslayer books, and I'm like, oh, maybe not. Maybe just these guys, because you know how much they like elves. But yeah, 2-inch range, and they have the Thrall Master, and there's just more ways to play with Thralls. But that leads me into my losers, whereas now you can play with Thralls. I don't think Eels are as good as they used to be. Their points went up. They're both the same price now, like $195 and $195 for 3.
Both types of Eels, right?
Yeah, both types of the defensive Eels and the offensive Eels. The offensive Eels lost range, and so they have a 1-inch range now. I wasn't sure if defensive had 2-inch, but the range is lower, and so now it's like if you want to take a big unit, you're still not going to get a lot of people in there because on the cavalry bases, and it's just a lot of guys. They lost the reroll charge on their war scroll. The defensive Eels kind of got the ethereal rule, but before you could make their ethereal better. Like you give them Mystic Shield and put them in cover and things like that, whereas they would be unrendable. But now they can't have it improved unless they charge. So it's 4, but if you charge it's a 3, but then it goes back to 4, and it's just kind of at 4. I can't make it worse, but I can't make it better. Another thing that might go on the shelf now, I would still take it, but it's just not as good. It's not as good because it used to be too good, in my opinion. Was the Soul Scryer, the Sheeran Soul Scryer. He was the guy who would pick a unit, and every unit got like +3 to charge if they ended within a ½ inch of that unit. And you could come from the side, +3 to charge, and you could like have 2 of them, and both could do the same unit, so you're like +6. I don't know if they ever fixed that, but I got, I'm still scarred, obviously, if I still remember it from when the book came out. But yeah, so Eagles would come out, pop up, pretty much guaranteed charge because they could have the reroll. That is no longer the way to play these guys, which, if you like, maybe you like that way, but you had your fun. Just like I had a bunch of keepers and long strikes. Those days are gone.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, you can still play it that way.
The meta changes.
Yeah, it does. It's an evolving, breathing game. The Reavers is kind of like loser/winner. They got different. I saw a lot of people in the competitive scene taking a lot of Reavers. I don't think that's the way to win anymore because it was overwhelming how many shots they got. Now it's kind of just like, no, you get this set amount of shots and it's normal. And they're like every other shooting thing where it's like, yeah, but with the tides, you got the run and shoot and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I think the Reavers are just not as like, well, oh, I got you. Now they're just another part of the army, but they're not as strong as they used to be. Another thing in the I thought really cool category. So the tides pretty much stay the same. You have your fight first, you have your run and charge, you have your run and shoot, you have your cover, all that stuff. But now, so the one where you fight first, seeing how that kind of went away from the game a little bit. If you have a Killian King, like the non-Voltan one, on his war scroll, once per battle, you can select D3 units to treat as if they have the high tide ability. I think it's high tide, which is to fight first. So D3 units can fight first at one point in the game. And so I think that's really good. You boom, maybe if you get in there, do that. But the way it's worded, because I was thinking, ooh, what if you take 2? But the way it's worded is it's like with anyone with this ability can do that once per battle. And I read it as if you have 2, you can still only do it once. But I've been wrong before.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah. Turtles are really cool. They are expensive now. They're 500 points. So if you want to do, I want that turtle battle line list.
Yeah.
That's 1,500 points. And so maybe like turtles and like add a hero or something. But it's like, I don't know if that's the way to go.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd rock 3 turtles at 500 each.
Yeah, but also that's for competitive stuff. If you want to rock 3 turtles, rock 3 turtles. I mean, I can paint their faces with a little bandana, Ninja Turtle style. And just kind of, I guess Raphael's out of the picture because nobody likes Raphael anyway, so that's fine.
What was that meme for him? It's like
a little too Raph.
A little too Raph.
I like the turtles. One thing I do like about the turtles is in the world of Hunters of the Heartland, or if you take that Stormcast sub-battalion where you're immune to monstrous reactions, they have that monstrous reaction, the new one, where they can get -3 rend. And that one I read as like you're targeting yourself to give yourself -3 rend. You're not targeting your opponent. So you can be hunters. And I'm like, all right, I can't roar you, I can't stomp you, but I can give myself -3 rend and samurai slice your head off. And so I'm really digging these books. I think Fyreslayers got better. I have to see it on the table, I have to play against it, then I can learn how good it is. I think Deepkin kind of stayed the same. Losing the eels and the reavers and that way to play, but you just have to find a new way to play. The lists, the armies will rise to the top and will come, and then they'll get new books, and the saga continues. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang. And so that is what I have to say about these books. Again, Games Workshop, thank you for sending these. We appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching, subbing, all the things you guys been doing. We're rocking 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years
3
now.
years of, is it 3 years or 4 years?
No. 4? No.
2018. That's 4 years. Well, this last 2 years didn't really count.